Chinese people. But I'm not sure if you know some of the traditions for the Imperial Palace. I believe many people are unfamiliar with the customs for the Spring Festival for the Imperial Palace. However, for the Spring Festival, it is not just matters to our public, but also very matters to the Imperial Palace. So this year, for the Forbidden City, this time, they actually restore some of the Spring Festival vibe in the Imperial Palace and also bring out some of the traditions to our people. So this time we have a 3-month exhibition which is called Celebrating the Spring Festival in the Forbidden City. So during this period, when you enter into the Imperial Palace, actually you can feel the sense of the Spring Festival. Now I'm at the Yongkang Gate. You can see the Spring Festival couplets and also you can see the guardian gods. For this exhibition, we could see a lot of things. For example, you can see countless guardian gods and also you can see the Spring Festival couplets. And also inside of the main hall, and also the east and the western side of the Imperial Palace, we can see a lot of antiques being displayed in this area. This time, the Imperial Palace exhibited around 885 antiques. So they are actually exhibiting some of the tablewares, and also they will demonstrate some of the calligraphy that has been written by the former empires. And this year we have a variety of exhibits. And the Imperial Palace have put a lot of energy to prepare for this exhibition. Then they also refer to some of the historical archives to get some knowledge about it. And this time you can see different types of antiques being displayed in the Imperial Palace. And also in the Qianqing Palace, it is the first time they have been exhibiting the Heavenly Lantern and also the longevity lanterns. So for this kind of lanterns, it has been disappeared for about 179 years, but this year we are so lucky once again to see the Heavenly Lanterns and also the Longevity Lanterns. And also we have another important events happening in the Palace Museum. So we have the Longzhongmen Square here. And also we will be arriving at the plaza of the Dueling Palace, also known as the Palace of the Compassion and Tranquility. And this year, we have invited 145 time-honored brands to exhibit their products and also some of their intangible cultural heritage. And they will also showcase some of the handiwork, some local snacks. So all of this will be exhibited in this Dueling Palace Plaza. For these time-honored brands, they're actually coming from over 10 cities in China. All of them bring their local dishes and also some of the local customs for the demonstration. So when you are visiting the Palace Museum, and at this time you can also understand the history and the culture of China. And at the same time, you can also get an experience of some of those like time-honored brands. So now we will enter the Yongkang Gate and to take a look at what are the time-honored brands. Today is the first day for the exhibition for the time-honored brands. Now we can see we have many vendors and visitors here. So maybe we can take a look one by one. On the left side is the region from Tianjin. On the right side is from the region of Shandong province. First of all, let's see what we have from the Tianjin booth. So first one is the gold leaf steam bun. I believe everyone had tasted. So from the table, you can see different variety of the steam bun, and also we have local snacks from Tianjin. So maybe you could give us some introduction about the steam bun. Talk about the history of the steam bun. It was founded in 1858, and we have over 160 years of history. And we have changed our equity in 2015. And with the strong support of our local government, we have expanded our business. We have over 30 restaurants that was run by Gold Belief. Maybe I can share a story about our brand. So our fillings is quite unique. We are actually combining some of the features from the southern area as well as the northern areas. So actually it's quite tender in taste and also very juicy for the fillings. But we're still using the traditional technique to make the steam bun. But of course, we will focus on honesty and integrity. So our objective is that we want to make contribution to the health of our people. And we also have an ecological farming field. And also we have some like imported flowers. And we use all kinds of premier ingredients to make our steam bun. And we also use very unique sesame oil to make the Gold Belief steam bun. We have a very hygiene kitchen and make contributed delivery for our steam bun. So my question is that you would taste the same kind of steam bun no matter where you are, right? We are actually processing all of these steam bun in the same area, and we also apply to the same standard. Thank you. So the first shop is actually coming from Tianjin, very traditional food. And let's look at another snack. It is the fried dough twist. It's also very famous in Tianjin and also very famous in China. So for the cabinet, you can see there are a variety of fried dough twisted here. Maybe we can get some introduction about the fried dough twist. Can you give us some introduction and history? Yes, and for this fried dough, actually we have over 100 years of history. We have 7 generations who dedicated to do this kind of fried dough. And actually today we are bringing a fried dough which has a length of 1 meter. It is quite unique. Actually, for the fried dough, the 1 meter fried dough, it used to be filed into Guinness record. And talk about the process, we would say we actually follow the traditions. At each generation, they have a master who will help to manage the fried dough so that we can make sure that the flavor and the taste remain the same. We are using the same recipe to make the fried dough. It is actually a heritage for us. As we know that the 18th Street fried dough was originated in Tianjin, we haven't changed the name. So the fried dough we tasted today is actually the same as we tasted 100 years ago. That's right. And this time we are actually introducing a new variety. It is the mini size of the fried dough. And the weight is around 30 grams. It is quite light. It is a grab and eat food. It is quite convenient. So you can taste it whenever you want. And the younger generation really love this kind of snack. It is a new product for us. Thank you. And we all know that the fried donut in Tianjin is very famous. So if you are interested, please take a visit here. And today, we have many time-honored brands exhibiting in the exhibition from the Palace Museum. And today, we have over 150 vendors who are participating in this event. So all of them are actually demonstrating their unique snacks and some of the local customs here. Now we have another booth. This is the Seagull watch. It is quite popular for the Seagull watch and the Shanghai watch back in the 70s and 80s. Can you give us some introduction about the history of the Seagull watch? The Seagull watch was actually founded in 1955. It is totally made in China and it has 63 years of history. And we have a Seagull group who is responsible for the designing and the distribution of the watch. We have our own design center and the R&D center. We have the IPR for the Seagull watch. As we know that it is quite competitive for the watch industry. So how can we maintain our competitiveness for the Seagull watch? How can we build up our brand? And what are some of the innovations of the Seagull watch? For the Seagull watch, we are actually making it on our own, but at the same time, we'll learn some of the new technologies to improve the functionality of the Seagull watch. So you're talking about innovation, right? For example, let's take a look at this one. We have a inlay technique of the watch. And also we have a specialized made movement. At the same time, we are also integrating some traditional culture inside of the watch. So we are actually combining the high tech as well as the traditional culture. So you can feel it from the design of the watch. You have this artistic look, and also you're actually combining the art as well as the culture. Very good, thank you. Well, we just passed some booths of the food and also some techniques, the watch manufacturer. So for China, we have many time-honored brands. We have different foods and also different products. So you can see the healthy food vendors, and if you look around, you can see these vendors are actually coming from different regions. Now we're actually at a booth of the bicycles. This is the pigeon bicycle. It is also very well known in China. Let's take a look at the exhibit. This is a traditional bicycle. So this is a modern one that we have made just now. If you remove the logo, actually you can hardly tell this bicycle is made from pigeon. This is a demonstration of innovation. It is very beautiful in the design. If you cover the logo, actually you cannot tell this is made from the pigeon factory. Let's look at other snacks. This is actually a snack that coming from the Imperial Palace. We're renting a house in Tianjin back in hundreds of years ago. So that's how our company started. So also wearing traditional clothes, actually a very traditional clothes from the Man minority group, right? So as you can see, during the Spring Festival, people will get prepared a variety of snacks. So you can see different kinds of nuts are selling here.
刚才我们顺着这一溜看到了不少的这个非常有特色的，您看这里还有不同的这种皮糖啊等等，这个也都是非常有名的一些中华老字号。
And we also have some like candies. All of these are actually produced by the time-honored brands. Let's continue our tour. And also we have some like alcohol vendors.
给我们起到了很多的作用，就是。
Actually, you experience all of these time-honored brands. As you can see, it is very difficult for them to continue their tradition and continue the manufacturing. Well, we have the Qingdao beer. It is quite famous in China. Can you give us some introduction about the Qingdao beer? Maybe you could talk about the history of the development of the Qingdao beer. We founded in 1903. It was co-founded by German and Brits. So this is our origin. So actually, the technique is quite prudent because it was initially developed by Germans. In 1949, as we founded the PRC, and we founded the first state-owned company of the Qingdao beer. So, does that change the flavor of the Qingdao beer? Well, we actually maintain the same flavor of the alcohol. As you can see, we quoted the beer as the classic 1903. That means that the tradition is actually passed down from the 1903. So what is this one? Because it is covering red, I'm not familiar with that. And this year we are actually celebrating the New Year in the Imperial Palace. So it is a special edition to celebrate the Year of Pig. And for this kind of beer, it is dedicated for celebrating the New Year. So you can feel the festive vibe when drinking this kind of alcohol. I believe there are many varieties of the Qingdao beer. So what about this one? Well, this one is actually named after the brewer. And this one is actually a high-end premium beer because the flavor is more like the German flavor. As we all know that as you have passed down one of different kind of beers, you must make some upgrades of the beer. Yes, that's why we developed so many varieties of the beer. As we have a large group of consumers with different preference, that's why we developed this kind of varieties. That's why we have the clear beer and also some mixed beer. And for the mixed beer, you are actually making it with the whole wheat. And the taste is quite complicated and enriched. If we want to revitalize all of these kinds of time-honored brands, you have to give some innovation to that. So innovation is the driving force for all of these traditional brands. Now we have just gone past the vending area for the time-honored brand. Let's continue our tour. Now we are at the Palace of the Compassion and Tranquility. We also refer to as the Dueling Palace. And on the other side, we can see some other artifacts that was demonstrating by some time-honored brands. As we all know that the Palace of Compassion and Tranquility is very famous. This is the actually the living room for the Empress Dowager and some of the empresses. So let's take a look at this one. This is a carving technology. So this is a part of the intangible cultural heritage from Shandong province. So what are the featured products? You can see different kinds of the wood carving, and also we are selling some combs and also some of the carving of the Zong addicts. Can you give us some demonstration of the carving? Yes. Is it difficult to do it? You have to have certain kind of expertise, and also you need to have patience to do carving. You have to practice for like tens of years. So for myself, I'm actually the inheritor of the wood carving from Shandong province. So you can see we have different kinds of tools for the carving. So you can see we have some like hollow carving for this device. And we also have to do some processing and keep improving the products. So you can see other products demonstrating. These are the end products that we have made. So what is, as a inheritor, what is your responsibility for that? I think we want to continue to carry forward of the culture of Taishan and also the Shandong province. So I think I have to devote my life to do it. Because we think all of these products are of long-reaching significance. That's why I think I have to do it well and also to pass down all of these traditions. And thank you for your contribution for that. As we have just met one of the wood carving inheritor, and it is not an easy task for them to carry forward all of these traditions. However, because of these people, we have so many intangible cultural heritage in China. Well, now we are arriving at the garden of the Dueling Palace. And today, we also have many Taiwan brands exhibiting their products here. So you can see by the two sides, we can see different booths that are exhibiting here. On the right side, they're actually coming from Beijing. For example, the well-known brand Wang Zhihe, and also some of the pickle brands and roast duck brand. I think everyone's tasted the Quanzhou duck. Can you give us some introduction about your brand and the history of the brand? So the brand was originated in 1864, and we have developed different flavors of the Quanzhou roast duck. Actually, we have a leader, a representative here. Maybe she could give us more detailed introduction about the Quanzhou duck. So I can tell there are many like flavors and different tastes of the Quanzhou duck. Can you give us some more detailed information? And this time, we're actually combining the catering service and also the fast food service. As you can see, we have 150 years of history. It is not an easy task for us to develop our products. At the beginning, we only focused on the roast duck, but now we have developed our catering services, and also we have over 120 restaurants running here. And for the catering service, we have developed different flavors of the roast duck. And for the roast duck in Beijing, they're actually being included as one of the intangible cultural heritage here. And also we have developed some royal dim sum and royal snacks. So all of these can represent our image of our brand. And we also have a product manager here. Maybe he or she can give us some introduction about our products. So from the packet, you can see the color is quite different, which represents the different flavor and the techniques of the roast duck. We have a diversified demand from our consumers. That's why we developed so many different flavors, so it can meet the needs of our consumers. This one is the boneless duck, and the smoked duck, and also the salted flavor, the sauteed duck, and also the ginger duck. So we have keep developing different flavors so that people can get different flavors. However, we continue to maintain the flavor of the roasted duck. So now today we are hosting the exhibition in the Imperial Palace. And back in the 1864, we actually focused on the Imperial roasted duck. So in our restaurants, we have actually over 30 processes to make a duck. We just want to maintain those fine traditions and also bring out the best roast duck to our consumers. So as you can tell that the roast duck is actually one of the imperial food in the past. So maybe we don't have time to visit this booth one by one. Let's take a look at the others. So on the left side, these are some of the companies from Shanghai. So this is the sewing machine company. So back in the 80s, I believe every household may have a sewing machine. So this is the brand Butterfly. You may be unfamiliar with some of the sewing machine. Maybe we can invite the person in charge to give us some introduction about the history of the sewing machine, and maybe you could also talk about some innovation. So the sewing machine of Butterfly is actually founded in 1919. So this year is the 100-year anniversary of the founding of our company. And we are very happy to have the chance to come here to have an exhibition in the Imperial Palace. We are very delighted about it. You may not know, actually, the first sewing machine was actually made from Butterfly. So our sewing machine is very popular back in the 80s and the 90s. I believe every one of the households may have one of these sewing machines. So when people are getting married, and some of them may purchase one of the sewing machines as one of the necessity of their wedding. And also we are actually exporting our products to over 100 countries. And it is a very well-known brand, both at home and abroad. Nowadays, we are actually adding some innovation to the products. Well, I can see there were so many sewing machines here. So are they from different series? Right, we have 6 series covering over 100 items of the sewing machines. So for the ones on top, they're actually the mechanical type of sewing machine. So you can see from the size, it is quite smaller compared to the sewing machine back in the past. And we also have a stronger functionalities of the sewing machines. And all of these sewing machines are equipped with over 400 techniques and processes. And we're actually handing up some of the works that were made by the sewing machine that we produced. In the past, it's difficult to use this kind of sewing machine to make that kind of work, but now it's quite simple to make this kind of work with the modern technique. And also we have a electronic sewing machine. It is more convenient. We have some buttons and it is totally intelligent. So the sewing machines can help you in your daily life. I want to give some more introduction about this one. So for this sewing machine, it cannot just use for sewing, but you can also make embroidery. And the innovation of this product is that we actually have a application in the mobile phone. With the IoT, you can actually connect this sewing machine with our mobile app. You can actually download the patterns you want to sew, or you want to put it on an embroidery from the mobile phone. So when this sewing machine receives those patterns from the mobile phone, it can help you with the embroidery. And it is quite customized and intelligent. So as long as you can upload the information to the sewing machine, so the sewing machine can help you with the embroidery work. Actually, for this sewing machine, it has been listed as one of the innovative upgraded products in China. Well, I understand that the butterfly brand has been in city for 100 years, and thanks to the innovation, I think the development of the butterfly sewing machine will get much better. Well, we have just visited the sewing machine brand from Shanghai, and we can see it can actually carry forward the tradition, and at the same time, it has some innovation to itself. And in this area, in the Palace of the Compassion and Tranquility, and today we get to know more time-honored brands. I believe you must be quite impressive of our Chinese brands. We just not focus on the watches and some of the food, and we also have some like high technologies here. So you can see all of these brands, they have over like hundreds of years of history. However, this time we have revitalized of these brands with revitalization. Now we are heading towards the Qianqing Palace, also known as the Palace of the Heavenly Purity. So for the Palace of the Heavenly Purity, in the past, the emperor will actually rest there, and sometimes he would manage some of the state affairs in the Qianqing Palace. And today we also have some interesting experience exhibition in the Qianqing Palace. And also today we will see some of the demonstration of the Heavenly Lantern and the Longevity Lantern. Just in 1 minute, we will be arriving at the Palace of the Heavenly Purity. Let's see whether this area has opened to the public. By taking this opportunity, maybe we can visit some of the vendors from Shandong province. Do we have the inheritor here? Well, we have the CEO here. Can you give us some introduction about your brand, the Donkey Hide Gelatin? We have traditional donkey hide, which has been passed for over 30 years of history. And also we have some oral liquids. It is quite convenient. And in the past, we also have some like imperial donkey hide gelatin. We produce this kind of gelatin during winter. And we integrated the pear into the donkey hide product. So what is the history for the Dong'e donkey hide gelatin? Well, it is also a time-honored brand with almost 100 years of history. Thank you. Maybe we would like to spend more time here to get to know more about the time-honored brands. This is called Guangyu Tang. So, can you give us some introduction of your products? So, this brand was actually dated back to the Ming Dynasty. So for this product, it has been passed down for over 400 years. So it is more like a traditional Chinese medicine. It is the Arxian plaster. So this brand is developed very rapidly in the TCM sector of China. Also, we have some like oral liquids. So all of these products are very suitable for the social development. As you have just talked about, this brand was dated back to the Ming Dynasty. So I believe this brand has the longest history because it has over 400 years of history. Well, there were many companies actually coming from Shandong province, and also some healthy products here. So our factory was founded in 1909. The founder was actually like one of the figure from the history, and it was founded in 1909. And for our products, we also win many awards in China and overseas.
好的，网友朋友们，刚才呢，实际上我带大家在这个慈宁宫。
Dear viewers, we have just visited the plaza of the Palace of the Compassion and Tranquility, and we also visited some of the time-honored brands. And we have seen many interesting and innovative products that has been presented by the time-honored brands. Now let's take a look at the area of the Dueling Palace. This year, we have over 10 provinces participate in this exhibition, and they're actually bringing their unique products. We have over 150 time-honored brands. And for this exhibition, it will last to the sixth day of the calendar year. If you have time, please take a visit to the Imperial Palace, and also you can pay a visit to those time-honored brands in China. Now we are at the area of the Dueling Palace, the Palace of Compassion and Tranquility. As you may know that this is the residence of the Empress Dowager. So actually, Monday for all of these palaces are not open to the public. But maybe we can take a look at the entrance of the Dueling Palace. So as you can see, all of these palaces are decorated of the Spring Festival vibe. As you can see along the gate, you have the Spring Festival couplet, and also you could see the Guardian Guard posted on the gate. So all of these are designed and decorated in accordance with the historical archives from the Qing dynasty. In preparation of this exhibition, the working staff from the Palace Museum have done a lot of work. They have read through historical archives to understand some of the traditions and some of the decorations for the Spring Festival back in the old days. For example, you can see the 2 Guardian Guard that has been posted on the gate. We can actually feel the Spring Festival from the Imperial Palace. And this year, it is the first time that the Palace Museum have organized to celebrate the Spring Festival in the Forbidden City. They have read a lot of books, a lot of history to understand how to decorate the Imperial Palace to restore the vibe of the Spring Festival. Especially, we have a special exhibition in the East and the West Wing Tower of the Palace Museum. And they have decorated the place with over 185 antiques. They're actually showcasing some of the clothes and the kitchenwares, and also they have some like handwriting calligraphy that has been made by the 5 former empires. So all of these works are exhibited to the public. As I have just mentioned, this time the Palace Museum has put up 885 antiques. So this number is actually hit the record. In the past, when there was an exhibition happening in the Palace Museum, they will put up antiques like 100 or at most 300 antiques. But this time they have prepared 885 antiques for this exhibition. And still remember, the last time, we have over 700 antiques display for the exhibition was in a London Cultural Heritage exhibition. And this time, the Imperial Palace has prepared 885 antiques, which has set a new record for the exhibition. And for this exhibition, it actually takes up like the 5 largest hall in the Palace Museum. And also, it set a new record. So that's why I strongly recommend all of you to pay a visit to the Palace Museum during the Spring Festival. As I've just mentioned that the exhibition was taking place in the 5 major halls, and also all of the public area, they're actually decorated with the Spring Festival vibe. For example, every door we pass, every corridor we pass, you can see all of those beautiful lanterns, and also you could see the traditional guardian god and the Spring Festival couplets. So all of the traditional Chinese culture actually demonstrated in every corner of the Imperial Palace. In the Qianqing Palace, it is the first time that they have put up some of the heavenly lanterns and the longevity lanterns after 179 years. And the heavenly lantern and the longevity lanterns, they are very traditional items back in the old days. And you can see some of the lanterns are actually set up at a column alongside by the Qianqing Palace. It is a very beautiful decoration during the Spring Festival. Maybe later on we can pay a visit to the entrance of the Qianqing Palace so we can get a closer look at the heavenly lantern and the longevity lantern. So in the past, every year when it comes the 24th of the last month of the lunar year, so people will set up the heavenly lantern and the longevity lantern. It takes over 8,000 people to prepare and set up these lanterns. And for the staff from the Imperial Palace, they have learned a lot of history to understand how to set up these heavenly lanterns.
么在这里呢，刚才我们讲到，就是通过以数字技术、虚拟影像和动作捕捉等等科技手段呢，对大家进行一个
Here as we talk about, we use some of the technological means to restore some of the Spring Festival vibe of Imperial Palace, and we have some like immersive technology experience. And for this exhibition, we have 6 sections, including the
通过这种现代化
auspicious invocation, the filial sacrifice, the imperial kingship, the diligent governance, the winter recreation, and the universal delights. So we are using some of the high-end technology to demonstrate the atmosphere of the Spring Festival in the Imperial Palace. Just in 1 minute, we will visit the Qianqing Palace to get some flavor of the immersive exhibition.
说像我们的这个
And also, we are going to see some of the lanterns that will be demonstrating up in the Palace of the Heavenly Purity. Alright, welcome back. Now we are heading to the area of the Qianqing Palace.
那么在这里啊，乾清宫这里今天呢是举办的这个故宫数字沉浸
So for the Qianqing Palace,
展览是用现代科技的手段
we are actually having the immersive exhibition. We will use the high technology
习俗等等，
to restore some of the Spring Festival vibe
大家也会看到。
back in the Ming and Qing dynasty.
那么同时呢，在乾清宫
So you will actually feel it after we arrive at the site.
树立天灯和万寿灯的这么一个活动，实际上每年呢，
At the same time, the
在这个
Qianqing Palace, they're actually holding the event to setting up the heavenly
故宫
lanterns
和就会
and also the longevity lanterns.
天灯和万寿灯。
Back in the old days, when there was a 24th of the last month of the lunar month, so for the Imperial Palace, we're setting up the heavenly lanterns as well as the longevity lanterns. However, for the Daoguang Emperor, he abandoned this kind of tradition in 1804. As we all know that it takes over 8,000 people to work together to set up the heavenly lantern. It is very difficult to do it. So now we are just about to arrive at the Qianqing Palace. Now you could see the longevity lanterns. So for the height of the longevity lanterns, it's over 10 meters. it is quite tall. So let's take a closer look at the longevity lanterns.
那么万寿灯、天灯，这个他们的从立到撤前后，总共需要8600人次。
So as I have just mentioned, it takes over 8,000 people to set up the heavenly lanterns and the longevity lanterns.
文献，找到了很多关于当年这个万寿灯和天灯的一些。
So this year, for the working staff for the Imperial Palace, they have referred to some of the historical archives to learn how to set up the lanterns, and they also get some information about the specifications of these lanterns. And also they find some of the protocols of the lanterns back in the warehouse of the Imperial Palace, and that's why they recreate this kind of lanterns and set this up in front of the Beijing Palace. So on the far side, it is actually the heavenly lantern, and for the large one, just in front of us, it is the longevity lanterns. Let's get a closer look at these lanterns. Now we're heading towards the entrance of the Beijing Palace. For the design and the coloring of the longevity lanterns is actually the same as the previous lanterns, so yellow is the major color. And also on the pillars you can see all of these brocades hanging above of the lanterns. For example, in Qing Dynasty, some of the scholars and intellectuals, they will write up some of the greetings and best wishes on the brocades, and later on the brocades will be hanged above of the longevity lanterns. Let's take a look on the longevity lanterns from this angle.
整个这个万寿灯的灯杆的高度目前看是11米左右。
So for the height of the longevity lanterns, it was around 11 meters.
我们离远一点看，其实还能看到它顶部有一个灯亭。这个灯亭呢，亭下面呢还有这个云龙挑头，一共有8个。那么这8个云龙挑头呢，主要是为了悬挂灯帘。
As you can see, we can have different light holders, and at least 8 holders of the longevity lanterns, and we are also hanging different like brocades on top of the lanterns, and we have very beautiful calligraphies and also some of the poems.
再往下看灯的灯座，这个是当年的遗存，这个是从。
Let's take a look at the foundation of the lantern. So this was the ancient foundation.